guys, it's Robin, RsIslandCrafts, and welcome to my craft room. This is my WiP Wednesday video where I'm going to show you whatever I worked on in the craft room this past week. I might even talk to you about what I'm going to work on this upcoming week. And if you hang out all the way to the end, I will probably babble on a little bit here and there about what's going on in my life. Now some weeks, I'd like to say some weeks are just going to be normal weeks where I don't have much to say, but we all already know that Robin likes to talk and she'll find something. So if you want to know what's going on in my life, just kind of hang out to the end. Plus, as always, I want to say thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in my craft room. And I love it when you guys watch the videos from start to end because that helps the channel out so much. It lets YouTube know that, hey, we have been enjoying this channel. We like what she's got to say. Go ahead and show her to some other people and suggest that channel to other crafters. What also helps is if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to get notifications of when I put up videos, just go ahead and ring that little bell next to it and YouTube will let you know whenever I pop up a new video. I'm starting to find my groove again, so you never know when I may have an extra video pop up here and there. I wanted to do some live streams. I'm actually ready to do some live videos. Nothing like you guys see with the other live streamers where they're going on for like an hour or some even go for 2 or 3 hours. That's a little bit much for me right now. But unfortunately, I have to wait until after Christmas when I get a new phone. I blew out the speaker in this phone. The only ways you guys can actually hear me now is I have to crank up the volume to 300% when I'm editing it. So yeah, but it'd be a good idea to go ahead and hit that bell. And then when I do start popping up live videos, then you'll be ready for them. And even then I might just pop up a video that I've recorded to make it feel like live and you know, whatever. Let's just get into the crafts. I don't want to babble in the beginning. Too late. I did work on my dishcloth a little bit this week. I'm at the decreasing part. I have set this aside in order to work on something else. I do pick it up every now and then for a couple minutes, but the dishcloth is not my main priority right now. This is one of my relaxing knits, but I do have something else that I need to do more. And that's something that I've been working on a little bit more is Robbie George's socks. I had a little bit of a catastrophe last week. I was knitting on the sock and I was just cruising around, and when I came around one of the corners back to the beginning, I noticed that I had a drop stitch down here, and the sock was probably about this high and the drop stitch was down here. And I thought, oh, okay, well, I can fix drop stitches. I know how to do that, right? So I started picking it up, but then all of a sudden I had this gap where there was a hole from the drop stitch, and then it started being part of a knit pattern again. So I must have noticed I was off in my counts, or I picked up a stitch somewhere, so I couldn't actually bring it up because what it ended up doing is just making it too tight in that area. Now if these were my socks, I would have just picked it up to that one point, took some of this yarn and tied it off in the inside to, you know, sew it together a little so it wouldn't drop anymore. But since these are going to Robbie and I want to make sure they're actually sturdy, and I'm not always available to fix things for him now, so I need to make sure that whatever I do is going to work. So I dropped down probably about 20 or 25 rows. I took them all out, just started pulling the yarn out, and I got it all the way back down to here. So that was a little discouraging, but it actually went really good, and you can see how far I made it. So I put in over 50 rows, so that's pretty good. So like I said, this was one of my main things that I picked up at night when I was a little too tired to really do anything concentrating wise. I do have the shawl pattern and stuff, but I don't want to mess that up because it has different yarn overs and stuff. This is like the dishcloth, it's just knit, 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 knit. So I picked this up and worked on that, and I've gotten pretty good. I'm over 60 rows, so now this sock is actually at the same length of his second sock. So once I get up to about 80 or 85, then I'll be all set to start to heal, as I said last week. So I think I did really good, put a lot of time into this. While I'm knitting on a lot of stitches, it's just because it's a small needle, and it's really small. It's not a really big circle that I'm working on, even though it is for Robbie's size. I think he's a size 14 or 15 now. So there are quite a few stitches on there. I do put 76 stitches on for him. And these are a size 1 needle, so it does take a little bit, but if I concentrate on it and I can mindlessly knit on this and they go quick. It's just not something I always pick up because it's a little bit boring after a while. I don't like to knit the fancy socks though. I don't want to spend that much time concentrating on it. Plus Robbie only likes the plain sock like this. He doesn't want anything fancy. He doesn't even want me to change the colors on the toes or the cuffs, so. But I put a lot of time into that sock. I'm actually feeling a little bit better now, If I get some more time into it, if I get lucky, I could possibly even finish both of those socks this week if I concentrate on it. I do have a couple doctor's appointments this week, so I do have some sitting time. With my luck, I'll bring my socks and they'll take me right back in like 5 minutes, and there won't be any waiting time. It's not normal that I like, oh, can you please not take me right away? I don't wish to sit in the waiting room, but when I want to work on a project like this, it's always nice when you have that extra bit of time. So 2 doctor's appointments and a pharmacy, well, I'll be all set. Now, I did pick up the shawl. I didn't forget about that. When I work on Robbie socks, none of the animals bother me. I don't know if it's because of the time of the day or the night that I work on them, but I tell you, I pick up this shawl, and the first thing that the cats and the dog want to do is they want to pester me. They want me to pay attention to them. They want to go out potty. They want a snack. They're like 2-year-olds. So where was I? So I didn't make as much progress on it this week. I probably only put a couple of rows in, but that's okay. Sometime last month, my daughter asked me, she's like, Mom, you know, you have this YouTube channel and you really love this time of the year. Why aren't you doing more for your favorite time of the year? She says, like, you love Halloween, you love the fall, to decorate for the fall, and you love Christmas. So come on, let's go. So I took it to heart, and I'm like, you're right. Let me go ahead and start doing stuff. So you guys have seen these projects because they've been my Sew With Me tutorials through the past couple weeks. But I did go a little bit crazy, and I do have the 3 pumpkin wall hangings. So the reason I have 3 is I was going to only make 2 of the little wall hangings. I was going to make the large pumpkin and the medium and the small pumpkin. But I'd gotten so excited, I was having so much fun stitching these down, that I went ahead and actually appliqued these all the way down, and I forgot I was supposed to leave one unsewn so I can show you guys how to applique it. And as you see, I haven't gotten any farther with these. I need to go to Joann's this afternoon. I am going to reward myself after sitting through my doctor's appointment, which is, it is not painful at all. It's just in and out, talk to the doctor. I'm not there for very long, usually like a half hour tops. We are getting into season, so it might take a little bit longer in the waiting room, which is why I bring Robbie socks. But I need to go out to Joann's and get more batting. I do have some of the polyester that I'm going to use for 2 of these, but for the 3rd one, I'd like to go ahead and use the cotton batting. Plus, I need more batting anyways, just for projects. So I'm going to do that, and I'm also going to go ahead and pick up the color of fabric that I'm going to use for the binding on these 3 and also on the table runner. But I'm not going to tell you what color I chose yet or what colors. It is definitely going to be scrappy. I've already decided that, but I'm going to leave that for a little bit as a surprise when I show you these. Hopefully they'll be finished this week so that I can go ahead and put some in the shop, keep one for myself, and then we can all go ahead and decorate, or anyone who might want to purchase these, we can decorate our houses before it gets too far into the season. I think I'm going to pick up some more of these too, because I feel like we need to have a turkey in our life also. So that's a little bit of a sneak that you're going to probably see coming up soon. We're going to do a turkey, because we got to have a turkey for Thanksgiving, right? I did go a little bit bag crazy. Well, not too bad this week. I only made 3. As always, I tend to post these pictures on Instagram before you guys see them. So if you want to see what's coming up on upcoming WiP Wednesday videos, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram. It is down in the description. This one has a bunch of pigs eating out. They're pigging out on cupcakes and pizza. I don't know what that is. They got cake and popcorns and donuts and hot dogs, you know, all those good things. But this is a quilted one. We were discussing on Instagram whether or not we liked the zippers that go all the way around the side, but everyone liked the ones that just stayed on the top, so I'm going to stick with this design here. There are no raw edges on the inside. You do turn this through the bottom like everything else that you do with bags most of the time, and so you do have that little bit of a stitch spot, but all of the side edges are completely encased inside. You do not see any binding. I tried that binding technique, and I found it added a nice weight and stuff to the bag so it would hold its shape, but I didn't like the way it felt stiff where the binding was. Because you're encasing that seam and you're making all that extra fabric, it became a little bit stiff. These are nice and squishy. They are quilted. So I have the piggy, and I've got the handle going on the right way this time now. And then I went and played with a bigger size, so this one is larger. I really like this fabric. What I thought was really cool about this fabric is it's really nice on the outside too, on the reversible side. Let me put up a picture here. And I love the way I'm going to use the reverse side too, because it's just a little bit more muted. This isn't like really bright, but it is definitely Crayola paint box colors and stuff. So I did like that. Got a nice little yellow zipper on the top to go with it. And I think I'm going to be sticking with a gray lining for most of my bags, a light gray, or some of them might actually go to a creamy or white or something like that. So I'm just going to stick with those instead of worrying about putting any types of prints in them or anything like that. Nice little tab to hold on to it. On this side you can hold the handle to open it. So this one is a bit of a taller one, and it's still not that wide, but I thought this would be good for putting all kinds of things in. You know, a lot of different balls of yarn in it. You could put a shawl project in this easily. And then I cut out another pig fabric. I really like this one. This one's Flying Pigs. I was going to make another boxy bag, but I managed to skip a step in the beginning that was very important. And instead of having to take everything apart, I just went ahead and made it into a larger pouch like this. This is one of the zipper pouches. I'm still sticking with the gray fabric. I thought this one was really nice. It's got about a 4-inch gusset. I think it comes out to be about, I think it might be 10 inches by 8 inches, just out of memory. And I thought, once again, this is a really good one to put several balls of yarn in it to make. You can make a color work project, a hat. You could put a shawl in here. You could easily fit the yarn in here for a shawl. And I would even start a sweater in here. You could put a child sweater in here, definitely. But you could also start out yours, or maybe a fingering weight sweater, because that doesn't take up as much space as, say, a worsted or a bulky weight sweater. So this is really cute. I love the colors on this fabric. I love the design and how it looks like it's all bleached out or something like that, or the paint didn't spread all the way. And these are definitely my colors. Now I have an exciting finish to show you. I wasn't feeling like sewing or knitting or doing anything a few days ago. I just kind of felt like sitting in my chair in the living room and watching some YouTube, so I pulled out my snowman. He's done. Look at him. He is all finished. Everything is all stitched down. I just love the way this guy turned out. On my trip to Joann's today, I'm going to see if I can find some blue fabric. I'm going to put a border of some type of a wintry blue fabric to go with his blue stitching, and then see how he's going to look like that. And I'm just going to make a little wall hanging out of him. This pattern is supposed to be a doorstop, but if I were to put a doorstop like this down on the floor, my cats are going to rub up against it, and it is not going to stay clean, and the stitches are going to come undone. I much prefer to have this as a wall hanging. Plus, that's something as a wall hanging, I'm going to be able to see it more often than if I put it down on the floor, because I don't look down at the floor that often. I'm also going to be picking up some fabric to start on the Santa Claus so that I can have him for next Christmas. Because let's face it, there is no way that I'm going to get that done in time for this Christmas. Even if I made that my main project and I didn't do anything else. Well, if I didn't do anything else, no sewing, no nothing, no knitting, I could probably get it done. But then we wouldn't have any fun here on the channel. I have to sew, right? I've become addicted to making those bags. Now, I did go ahead and give this guy a good press. If you want to see how I press them, you can head over to my Patreon page. The link is down below in the description. I have this listed as a free video. You do not need to be a patron, so you don't have to be paying any monthly payments, no donations. You don't need to be supporting me in any way. I did put it up as a free video, so if anyone wants to just come by and check it out and see him a little bit closer up and watch me give him a nice press and see how I press my embroidery pieces, just head on over to Patreon and you'll see it at the top of the list. So that is what I've worked on this week. I spent a lot of time on Robbie socks. I concentrated on that. I spent larger chunks of time on it, I should say. But now that I finished that embroidery piece, I did pull out an older one so that I can work on it. I don't necessarily need to work on this all the time, but if I do feel like it, I want to make sure I have something ready to go. I have showed you this piece before. But I did find out where I got the pattern from, because that was one of the things that we couldn't figure out before. Get you a little bit closer up look here. I've got a snowman here watching it is a snowflake kite up in the air. Got another snowman here, and then we've got the Christmas trees, well, the outside pine trees all decorated for Christmas. So I was looking through my different emails and stuff like this, and I was trying to find the paper copy of this pattern, and I found out that this is what I thought it is. It is a Crabapple Hill Studios design, but it's not on their website anymore. So unfortunately, this is not a pattern that you guys can pick up, even though it's really adorable. I've got most of the trees stitched. This is one of the ones, they do a lot of ones where you can color it in and add that extra color, especially since you have white snowman and stuff like that. So I did color in my trees, and I colored in their outfits and stuff, and did some little designs up there. I colored in the border. There's a double little thin border. So I will be stitching along both inside and outside of the borders here with some red, and then I'll outline all of these little features in the color that it is. This has become my little embroidery bag. I really like this pouch. I like that I was able to center a flower on the back. I believe we made this pouch before. I'll see if I can find it, because I did a divider inside. So I was showing you guys how you can make a zipper pouch and put a divider in it. But these are my colors that I pulled out of my embroidery floss stash. So I keep those on one side of my pouch, and on the other side I keep a little beeswax that I can run the floss through so it doesn't tangle. This is the blue from the snowman I haven't put away yet, a little pair of scissors, and I keep 3 needles because you never know if you're going to lose a needle and maybe it becomes dull or something like that, but most likely I could lose a needle, and I wouldn't want to be somewhere and want to be stitching and not have a needle. So I like that the pouch is divided so that I can put what I consider my dirty stuff over here. And then I can put my embroidery floss and keep it nice and clean on this side. I will need to grab another Ziploc bag, because I like to keep one in here for the trash, the ends of the threads that I cut off. Then I put them in a little Ziploc bag, and then when it's all done, I can just empty that into the trash. When I was doing my snowman, I was just putting all the trash over onto the other side of the pouch, because I only had the one color of floss, so I didn't have to worry about it. And this has also now become my embroidery bag. So whenever I'm working on something, I'm going to go ahead and just keep it in this bag. Keeps everything nice and clean. I know what's in the bag. Even if I don't know what project's in there, I know it's going to be an embroidery project. I can just grab it and head out the door if I want. It's got my hoop and everything all the way in it. I'm using one of these spring-loaded hoops that I've fallen in love with. Ta-da! So let's keep our pumpkins out while we have a little chat. So what am I going to be working on this week? I do want to get these quilted and bound and all finished up. Let's face it, I'm going to be making more pouches. I really like this size quilted one, so I'm going to definitely be making a couple of these. I do have to put in an order for zippers because I've been going a little crazy making the zipper pouches, so I need some more zippers. I do have some shorter ones, but when making these medium-sized pouches, they do need to be a little bit longer. I believe I've been using a 12 to 14 inch one for these pouches. I've told you guys many times in the videos that I like to have a zipper that's longer so that these two stops, the zipper pull and the little stop on the end, is on the outside of the bag, and it just makes it so much easier to attach the zipper when you don't have to worry about that. Can I make them with the zipper that's the exact right size? Of course, but I just like to make it a little bit easier. Plus I save all the little ends that I cut off for a special little art project in the future. I have a long list of bags actually that I need to make. I need to make some triangle ones. I need to make some box ones. I need to make some tote bags. Hey, I could just stay in the craft room all week long, working 8 or 10 hours a day and making bags, and I would be happy. But I've already learned that I cannot work 7 days a week, at least not in the sewing room. I did that the last few weeks. I was just having fun. So I decided that I need to definitely take a couple days off from the sewing room. And lately it's been taking off like Thursday and Friday. As long as I get my sewing tutorial ready ahead of time, I've been working on that on maybe Tuesday or Wednesday so that it's ready for you guys on Friday. And that way I can take Thursday and Friday to do what I need to. Whether it's to go through and purge some more things in the house, or if I'm just going to sit in my chair, relax, veg out, watch some YouTubes, or with all the holidays coming up, Hallmark movie time is coming. Right now I've been watching the Halloween movies, and then I can just do a little bit of knitting or a little bit of hand stitching or embroidery. So that way I'm giving my body and my mind a little time to relax, and I don't have to keep thinking. Because I found that just like how I missed a step on this bag, that if I push myself too much during the week, that when I want to have the fun time of sewing on Saturday and Sunday, because that's when I do most of my projects is on the weekend, then I'm just going to keep messing up and I'm going to have to keep getting out the seam ripper. And that's not fun. So I'm going to go ahead and pay attention to what my body's telling me and give myself Thursday and Friday to just relax so that my brain is capable of working on the weekend. I have no clue if I'm going to get much of anything done this week. I already have our Friday project picked out. This time we are going to be doing a Halloween project that is not going to be super scary, and depending on the fabrics you choose, it's still going to be Halloween themed because that's the way the design is. I found a free design for us to work on again this week, and I think we're going to have some fun with it. But in order to do everything, I've got a full week. I've got doctor appointment this afternoon, and then I need to go. I decided that, I've always decided this, it's not anything new, but I tried to explain it to my daughter the other day that if I'm going to get off my lazy butt and leave the house, that I'm going to try to get all of my errands done in one shot, even if it means I have to stop at 3 to 5 stores. Because if I blow this afternoon and do all my errands today, then I don't have to leave the house again to do those errands throughout the week. Although I do have another doctor's appointment on Wednesday morning, somehow I got lucky enough to have one I go through every 6 months and one I go through every 2 months, and they both just happen to be in the same week. That's okay. I'm going to go out and spend my afternoon at Joann's picking up bits of fabric. I'm going to stick with my plan and get 1/8 of a yard. Not from my, well, I did say I'm going to do a scrappy binding, so I should be able to get away with just buying 1/8 of a yard of stuff to just find some fun things to bring into the stash to kind of fill it out. I do have a lot of things, but I do need to go ahead and fill that out. Speaking of, I did go through my bin of squares that I told you about before, that I had them all cut up. I have separated them and organized them, and they're all in bags. These are going to be getting listed sometime this week in the shop. I have a whole bunch of separate ones. I put them in 10 of the 5 charms, so each one has 2 matching ones, so you can do a matching I Spy. I have them in 30s. I have 40 individual ones, so none of them match. So I thought that would be a nice little thing to put up in the shop. So if anyone wants to pick up a couple of them, you can get, since the 10s are all going to be different, like if you wanted to buy 2 packages of 10 for a total of 20, of course, this pack and this pack are individual. They don't match at all, so there's no duplicates. But when you get into the ones of 40, and then I've got 30, I tried to also keep these separate, so if you pick up this one, it won't match this one at all. So I thought that was a really good thing. And once I get through all of these in the shop, I think I'm going to start regularly shopping at Joann's and picking up some special fabrics like this, that if these packages become popular, that I'll go ahead and do that, so that anyone who's looking for some scrap fabrics can go ahead and pick some of these up. These are great for making the I Spy quilts. You can make tote bags with them. You can make regular, just standard quilts, cut them up into half square triangles, add a background color. You can make the memory games that we did before. So there's just so many things that you can do with these. You can cut these up into 2.5-inch strips and make piano key borders, or turn them into scrappy binding. I also have the 4.5-inch ones from my Oops collection, so I have those. The next thing I'm going to be working on with the scraps is I've decided to also go through and with my strip collection, my scraps of all my different strips, my 1.5, 2, 2.5, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go ahead and make some bundles up of those also. So if anyone's looking for some types of scraps, they're already pre-cut and ready in strips. So if you want to make string blocks with them, or if you want to use them for some other types of projects, they're already there and all set. Let's see how those go in the shop. I do have a lot of scraps, and I keep generating more scraps. So the more projects we do, the more scraps I get. And I can only work on so many scraps at a time, correct? I am going through a lot of them, but I do still have a lot of yardage of fabric. So even if it's not my scraps and I just cut some strips off the yardage, I thought that might be nice too for anyone who could be looking for different types of things like that. Maybe creating some jelly roll scrap bundles. So there are a bunch of 2.5-inch strips by width of fabric, and then you guys can go ahead and do whatever you want and create with them. We have a lot of projects here on this channel. We've got the crumb blocks, we've got the string blocks. What else did we do with strips? Well, there's a lot of things we've done. We've done the different types of zipper bags where I use the salvages, but you can go ahead and make that with the strips. So there's a lot of scrappy types of projects. There's tons of them on Pinterest. So I thought that might be fun to just go ahead and put some of those into the shop. But that is it for me. My brain just seems to be full this week. I have a lot of ideas going on up there, but it just takes some time to get it from my brain to my hands, and from my hands into the shop and onto the sewing machine table and into the knitted projects. There's just that time of the year where I just feel very inspired at this time of the year. Like there's just so many things that I want to do. But I think one of the things I better do this week is to get into my holiday closet and find my Halloween stuff and my fall stuff, because if I wait too long, those holidays are already going to be here and gone, and I'll be digging into that closet for my Christmas stuff. So that's it for me. I hope you guys are having a very productive week too. Go ahead and leave a comment and let us all know what you guys are working on. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye!